Go.
Hi guys, it's your girl Ina. Here in Switzerland we have our own bio-organic garden where we get most of our vegetables and things for the summertime, and we manage ourselves. So it's, I think, June 1st today, so we don't have a lot of stuff that's ready. What we have been able to eat already are strawberries, some cherries, we have some lettuce, of course spices, and we've got these bad boys. If you say you've never seen someone grow artichokes in their yard, neither have we. But we planted them once, I think 3 years ago, and they come back every year. So we have one big artichoke here that's ready to go. So I'm going to explain my recipe. It's sort of my family recipe for steamed artichokes with my own artichokes from my yard. I'm just going to do one today. These guys aren't quite big enough yet. So take the artichoke. Incidentally, the artichoke stems, if you take like the stalky part and dry it out and grind it up, it's very, very healthy, full of antioxidants if you're into that sort of thing. Okay, so we've got our artichoke. Now, the breadcrumbs that we have here, and I'm going to explain this later, they don't necessarily come flavored like a lot of the ones in the States do. So I'm going to flavor mine with our own herbs that we have in our garden. So here we have our own oregano. Since it's an Italian recipe, I'm going to use some oregano. In our garden, we also have parsley. Over there, sage. You can see here, rosemary and thyme. See what I did there? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Okay, so I'm going to get some oregano. That should be enough. And don't trip on the grill. I'm going to get some thyme. You know what? I'm going to do a little rosemary too. Okay, so now I've got my herbs from my garden and my artichoke from my garden, and we'll be right back with you. Well, what are you doing here? Just kidding. So, got my stuff set up here. What I'm going to have to drink today, maybe this is off-brand, but I'm going to have some iced tea. I make my own iced tea. A lot of people, I don't know if you realize, but you can make your own tea from just what you have in the garden. So, and this particular tea that I made this sun tea with is rose petals, sunflower petals, peppermint, lavender, daisies, dandelion flowers. Basically, a lot of things you have in the garden you can use for tea. So that's what I do. I dry these things out and I make sort of my own homemade tea brand. And then I just put this couple handfuls in this big jug thing, sit it out in the backyard with a couple slices of lemon, let it sit in the yard for a while, and then you have some great sun tea. So this is my sun tea. I don't like things, I've mentioned before, too sweet. So I put a little bit of honey in there to sweeten it, and that's it. I'm going to use a little lemon, and of course peppermint. Whoops, stuck to my hand. Okay, and then I'm going to have a glass of iced tea with you. I would have an Ina Temple, but it's noon here, so I'm not going to day drink right now. Okay, now I'm going to see if I can kind of turn this around so everyone can see. Oh, there's my other mint thing. Good. If I can turn this around to sort of show you what. Can I do that on here? Oh, I don't even know if I can. I'll just show you this way. So what we have breadcrumbs. Now, here they come just plain old breadcrumbs. They don't come spiced or flavored. So I've got my stuff to do that. Here are the herbs that we just picked from the backyard. I keep scissors in my kitchen to kind of chop things like this up with scissors. It's a lot easier for me. And then I've got, for the cheese, I've got some organic Parmigiano Reggiano. It's also a co-op product. That's our local grocery store. And then you can kind of use whatever kind of things you like to add to your stuff. I'm going to use aromat, which is something you get here. I don't even know if you can get it in the States, but it's basically like the flavor of like a bouillon sort of thing. Then I've got garlic powder, salt, and pepper. So those are what I'm going to use in my recipe. That's kind of hard to film like that, since I have to do this all by myself. So what you do is take your breadcrumbs. Now, as many times as I made artichokes, I tell you, no matter how much stuffing you make, you always end up not making enough. So make sure you make plenty because you don't want to have to make it again. Okay? Then, I have my breadcrumbs in there. all of that delicious cheese in there. And again, you can use a different cheese if you like, or you can use the pre-grated one. We usually just have one of these at our house because we go through a lot of this, and then you can just grate it fresh. I think it tastes better, but that's up to you, whatever you have in the house. Pepper, let me see, can you see that? Pepper. See, now I know why they have things all pre-prepared on cooking shows, because nobody wants to see me standing here doing this. Salt. I'm not going to put too much because that cheese is kind of salty. And I'm also going to use some of this. Like I said, this is a product that you get here called Aromat. It basically tastes like bouillon. If you need to use it for something, like if you need a lot more of it, you can just take a bouillon cube and kind of scrape a little bit of it off. That's kind of what it tastes like to me. Salty, but with a little bit more sort of flavor to it than regular salt. Got my herbs here that I've cut up. So like I was mentioning outside, that the breadcrumbs don't come flavored here. So I use my own sort of what I have in my garden. Now, if it's not the middle of if it's not summertime and you don't have your herbs and things in your garden, you can just use like Italian salad seasoning, like whatever you have at your store with oregano, that sort of thing. I like the oregano flavor in there, so I find that to be the most important, but do what you've got. Okay, then you mix this up. I've washed my hands, don't worry. So then you have your cheese and your herbs and your salt and your pepper all mixed up in your nice little bowl. Okay, then next thing you do, put that aside. Have some iced tea, it's hot outside today. Okay, then what you're gonna do next is take your cutting boards, get all this other junk out of the way, and your artichoke. I had, mine had a couple of ants on it, so I kind of rinsed and filled it up with water and then shook it upside down to try to get all of the ants out of there. I mean, I guess one ant's not gonna hurt you, but I'm not in the mood to eat ants, so I tried to get the ants out of it. So I don't know if this is very humane, but I think I got all the ants out, okay? Then take a nice knife, and can you see this? Let me see if I put this here, if it's better to see. Okay, you want to sort of flatten the end of your artichoke, like so. So when you have it, oops, there's a couple more of my friends. Oh my gosh, this is a disaster. Okay, cut the bottom of it off so that it sits flat when you're steaming it. If it sits nice and flat, you'll be able to steam it better. Then, these are kind of prickly at the top here. If you're not familiar with artichokes, they can kind of stick you in your finger, or if you're making these for your kids, you don't want them to get... Actually, this is something fun you can do with kids, because it's something the kids can really do to help stuff the artichoke. Now, let me see any other animals running around. Okay, we don't. Good. Okay, so next step, stuffing your artichoke. I take like a teaspoon, and I use a teaspoon for the stuffing. You can also do this. This one's kind of spread out pretty well, but if you get an artichoke that's really tight, sometimes they come, they're like, you can put it on the cutting board and with your palm kind of push it down a bit to get these all sort of spread out. It's easier to stuff that way. Okay, so what I do is I just hang it over. Maybe it would be nice if you could see what I'm doing. Can you see that? No. Can you see me now? Can you see me now? Can you see me now? Yeah. Okay. Just use your teaspoon to fill up the leaves, kind of shake it down there really well. Now you're going to steam this, so this might look like, oh, who's going to want to eat breadcrumbs and grated cheese mixed together? It's gross. It's actually not gross, it's delicious. Spread out your artichoke leaves and get it all. So when you steam this, what happens is this mixture, this stuffing, gets nice and moist and sort of fills in down below with the artichokes. So when you take the artichoke leaves, scrape the artichoke leaves, then you get a nice taste of this delicious stuffing, which does not look appealing right now, but I promise you it's delicious. Okay, so I'm gonna finish stuffing my artichoke and I'll come back to you with the next step, okay? Bye. Okay, so I'm back. So I've stuffed my artichoke, and believe it or not, so all that stuffing fit in this one artichoke. So that it seemed, like I said, it always seems like you're making too much, but make a little bit more than you think you're gonna need because it's really never enough. So all that I made, I used basically all of it, which is cool. Then what you wanna do is put your artichoke in a pot, like a spaghetti pot or whatever this pot is called. So this is this size pot, but make sure there's enough. Normally, if you make these, if you go through all this trouble to make one, usually you make 3 or 4, and then you would put it in a bigger pot, obviously, that they can all steam together. Important, make sure you have a lid that fits your pot because you will be steaming, okay? Then you want to take some olive oil and just sort of sprinkle it over the top. You don't need much. Just sprinkle the top of the artichoke with some olive oil. Oh, this is a mess. This is a mess. Okay, then put some water in here. You might need 1/2 inch, 1 centimeter, something like that. Just enough, so about so much on the bottom. And then what you do, nice and simple, put it on your cooker, bring the water to a boil. As soon as it starts boiling, turn it all the way down to simmer and then leave it for an hour. It's gonna take an hour. It's gonna take an hour and the house is gonna smell fantastic, but just leave it. You can't, if you don't let it really steam all that time, it's not gonna be tender, it's gonna taste gross. It's also probably gonna taste gross because it's full of ants, but we're just gonna pretend that that's not reality, but it is reality. There's ants in there. What are you gonna do? You gotta make your video, right? It's a couple of ants. Anyway, so we're gonna steam this now, and we'll come back when the steaming process is closer to finished. Okay, bye. Okay, we're just gonna take a little peek. We brought our water up to a boil, turned it all the way down to simmer, and then you can have a look at the artichoke now steaming. We're early in the steaming process, so we've got to leave this for fairly longer time, a lot longer. So we'll come back to you when it's closer to being finished, okay? Hi, okay, so we're back now. So this has been steaming for about an hour. This house smells fantastic. I tell you, this reminds me of my childhood when my mom would make these, or my grandma would make these. The house would smell so good that you wanted to eat it like right out of the pot. Have you ever seen like the Rachel Ray show where she eats stuff so hot? Or what's that other lady? Laura in the Kitchen? They eat stuff so hot, like, but they have to burn their lips. That's the thing with this. It smells so good and you have to smell it for an hour that when it's finally almost ready, you're like gonna get a 3rd-degree burn in your mouth. Okay, so, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this off and get a nice little artichoke facial. Oh my gosh, I wish we had smell-o-vision. It smells so good. Okay, now the way that you have to test if this is done is the leaves should be able to pull off easily. Like if you can't pull off the leaf easily, then it's not tender enough and it's not gonna be good. So, but it's gonna be hot, I'm gonna burn myself. Okay, so you pull, whoops, yep, and that comes right off. Woo! Oh, I just burned my hand. Okay, whoops. Okay, so this is ready. The leaf came off right with just a gentle pull, so you know it's ready. It's nice and tender. Do you guys know how to eat artichoke? I guess if you sat and watched this whole video, you know how to eat an artichoke, but just in case you don't, I'm going to show you. So you don't actually eat the leaf. Like you don't eat this whole thing. That would be gross, okay? It's sort of this, let me see if I can show it. This part here that's connected to the heart of the artichoke is very tender. And then on the inside of the leaf, here where you can see the stuffing, the inside of the leaf also has a bit of really a tender part that you can sort of scrape out. And you can tell I'm talking a lot because I don't want to put this in my mouth because I want to burn myself. So I'm going to talk a little bit more that I don't burn myself. So that's the actual part of the leaves that you eat. So don't take it and eat the whole thing. You'll be like, what's wrong with this Ina chick? Like, that's gross. So that's what you want to do. I think I can try it now. Okay, so you can do it like this with your top teeth or with your bottom teeth. It's up to you. I think I usually do my bottom teeth, so I'll show you how I do it. So I'm starting to talk with my mouth full. But you see, you sort of scrape off this tender part in here. Oh my gosh, so good. And that's how you do it. Now, when you get, sorry, so good. You can't even taste the ants at all. When you get through, oh, sorry. That's why you don't eat with your mouth full, talk with your mouth full. When you get through this and you get through all the leaves, if you have some extra of that stuffing stuff stuck to one of the other leaves, like the back of another leaf, you can sort of scrape that out with your spoon and put it aside, because the best part is when you get all the leaves, when you get through all the leaves and it's just the heart of the artichoke. That's the best part of the whole thing, and it's delicious. So once you get through that, save a little bit of the stuffing on the side of your plate, and then you can put that on your heart of your artichoke. The heart will be at the bottom. It's a round thing like this, and as you get closer toward the heart, these leaves will be less dark green and start turning more white. Some parts will be a little bit purple toward the middle, white and sort of purpley toward the middle. You have the really fine paper thin leaves toward the bottom, and then right on top of the actual artichoke heart are hairs, but not like human hairs. They're similar to the consistency of like the hair on a corn on the cob, like corn on the cob, like silky sort of things. But they're on the artichoke heart. You can't eat them. Well, I guess you can if you were hungry enough, but I wouldn't suggest to eat this. So just take a little, like a teaspoon or a tablespoon, and sort of scrape out those, or sometimes if it's really tender, you can just like pull them out by clumps. Get rid of all that hair in the middle of the heart, that little extra stuffing that you set on the side, put that on the heart, and then you can eat that. Delicious. So this is my recipe for artichokes, my family recipe. My Italian family's from Sicily. So this is my artichoke, or we could say antichoke, I guess, since it's probably still full of ants. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope you try this at home, and stay tuned for more videos. I, just to say again, have no idea what I'm doing, so somebody said make a cooking video, so I tried it. If you like it, let me know. If you think this is stupid, I can try something else. Just try to figure all this out and put out stuff everyone finds funny. So let me know what you think, and we will continue to put stuff out, okay? Have a great day. Ciao.